What's up? What's up? What's up? Hey, everybody. I don't know who's out there, but thank you for joining me, Stacey Michelle, my third episode, Stacey Michelle's Corner. Hey, y'all. So, what's going on? Happy I don't know, do we celebrate Cinco de Mayo? I'm not really sure if that is the proper term, but if you were out celebrating today, I know there were a lot of day festivals going on in my city. So if you were celebrating today, I hope you had a great time. The weather started off raining early this morning, but then it broke and it ended up being a beautiful day. Unfortunately, I couldn't hang out with nobody today because I had to be here disciplining myself, pushing forward to make sure that I'm really making Stacey Michelle's Corner really live and popping. So, how do I look, y'all? I feel great. I'm in my like floral colors. I got my curls going. My skin is glowing. The light is nice, and Stacey Michelle's Corner light is actually, you can actually see it this time. My last episode, it was kind of blurry, but you can actually see it. And I'm proud of myself. Stacey Michelle's Corner. Yeah, very good. The lighting is tricky, y'all. It is very, very tricky. It is very, very tricky, but glad to be here today. I hope you all are glad to be here with me. This episode is going to talk about hot topics, well, topics that I think are hot. Not hot like that, not like hot like this, like how I look right now, but hot topics and my opinions, hot topic news and my opinions on those hot topics. So there's a lot going on in the news, y'all. There's a lot going on. I hope we're paying attention to the real news and not a lot of the celebrity smuck that's going on, even though that's like interesting to be in other people's business. We need to be making sure we are handling our own business by keeping up with the current news and things that interest you. Even though we know that sometimes the media can just like distort stuff and have us, we know how the media gets. So, but anything you're interested in, just make sure that you're educating yourself. And if it is affecting you and your family, your finances, your health, all of those things that require you to be live and breathing, make sure you're tapping into those, that information and educating yourself so that you are aware of what's going on. It's very easy. All you have to do is pick up your phone nowadays and there it is, the news. So yes, we're going to be talking hot topic news and my opinions of what I think is hot topic. As you know, there is a lot of talk about technology, algorithms, all that, EVs, electric vehicles, even in the White House, on the Capitol, I should say, all types of people in their opinions and feelings about technology and what climate control and what funds and money should be poured into that. But we will jump right in and actually talk about Elon Musk. And he visited China last week. I'm not really sure if y'all know that, but I like Elon Musk because, like, he has the type of money and the ability to just make moves. And I know it was like last year or a year before, sometime there was this kid, this really smart kid, who was tracking his every move, and I'm not really sure if they resolved that. I think they resolved that, but he was tracking his aircraft. But apparently Elon Musk was able to sneak into China. I won't say sneak, but he was able to do a visit, an unannounced visit, last Sunday, actually, or Sunday, April 27th, 2 weeks ago. Or was that last night? That was last Sunday, right? Oh, time goes by fast. But anyway, so he arrived in Beijing to chat with Premier Li Ozhang. I hope I'm saying that right. We'll just call him Li. To actually talk about the automation that they want to, the automation technology that they want to add to the Tesla vehicle. Now, if y'all don't know, Tesla has actually been operating in China since in Shanghai since 2018, which is a long time. And so I thought that was pretty interesting because, again, we all know that right now, China, supposedly the US and China are having some issues. I wouldn't say it's our fault, but they're people that kind of have control and have the say so are butting heads with each other. And as far as the tariffs and exporting and importing and stuff like that. So it's a lot going on. But yes, Tesla has been operating in a warehouse in Shanghai since 2018. And it's actually Tesla's largest global market in Shanghai. So and that's interesting too, because there are a lot of other electrical vehicle companies in China that Tesla is actually competing against. And so what is also interesting is that Tesla's actually sold 1.7 million cars in China, which is a lot. That is a lot of cars, a lot of electrical vehicles. I'm not really sure how many has been sold in the US. I didn't look that up, but I found that very interesting. Just interesting how big of a brand Tesla is in China. The man is just doing it. But anyway, he actually went to China to discuss further about the full self-driving software. And if you know, some of you may know that has been having some issues here in the United States as far as like the cars just kind of taking over. But what happens is here in the US, the full self-driving software, full self-driving, the FSD software, it still requires active drivers. Like, you just can't let it drive. But it has semi like navigation on like city streets, and it has the ability to like respond to traffic lights and stop signs and stuff like that. But they're trying to bring Elon Musk is trying to bring that to China. But it was interesting because in order for him to bring that to China, so if you all are aware of how things work, when they have cars and anything that is able to collect data, like the whole TikTok thing, collecting our data, just data. Um, Companies need permission to use that data and share it with other companies, right? And so the reason why it's not really being released right now in China is because Elon has to get permission to take the data that is running, the data that is being collected from the cars that are running in China right now, to be able to bring that over to the US to analyze it, to figure out like what needs to be done so that the FSD, I said that right, FSD can run properly in China. Because you got to understand, like, it's different over there. Signals are different. Everything is different. So he can't just say in these cars in China, because that's just not how it works. So he is over there trying to make things happen. I don't blame him because they said that, like, if he's able, like, this relationship that he has with China, having his cars over there, it's they're saying it's a positive thing, right? They're saying it's a positive thing because as long as we, US America, can still get along with China, it's always a good thing. Because like you've heard many people say, or even me, even when I said before, like, everything, like all of our everything literally comes from China. All of our electronics, like TVs, basic stuff that we use, comes from China. And then a lot of people are benefiting off of that. They have businesses here and they get a lot of their products from China, and they're able to operate here in the United States and make a living for their family. So that would be very devastating if, like, tariffs just everything just keeps getting more and more challenging. And again, as citizens, I mean, the only say we have is the people that we actually elect. So if we are not paying attention and electing people in our districts, our representatives in our Senate, and they're just making decisions based off of their feelings and not even realizing how it affects us, that could be really devastating. Because even with the TikTok situation, I found it funny though with the TikTok situation, because they are giving a bite dance until January 2025, which is after the election, right? So pretty much that was just funny to me. Like, we don't want to make a decision now. We're gonna wait till January 2025 after the election. So it's gonna be interesting what president is in office, and then what happens to ByteDance, right? Or TikTok, I should say, at that moment. And I was having a conversation with somebody at work, and they were saying that it's bigger than the whole possible data breach, right? It's more about the algorithm. I didn't do any more research on the whole TikTok situation. I just saw that, it's they have to do something by January 2025. And I found it interesting because my coworker was just saying, like, they want the algorithm. They want the algorithm. And I'm like, that is so crazy how people will intimidate you because you have something that they want, right? You have something that they want, and they will intimidate you. And first of all, they'll I don't think they intimidate you at first. I think they give you an offer, right? They're like, let us have this, and we'll give you this amount of money. But why? Why would I sell something that I have, a gift that I have that's so much bigger than what you can offer me? And then that's when, like, the intimidation comes in, right? I remember I seen an interview with Young Dolph, and he was talking about, like, how some of the record labels, the major record labels, were trying to recruit him, or even some of the artists that have their own record labels was trying to recruit him. And he actually said, and y'all can see this video, I don't on YouTube, this interview on YouTube, and he was saying, like, I'm worth so much more than $1 million. Like, why would I sell myself for $1 million? Like, I'm so much bigger than that. Like, and that's what he did. He was like, no. And a lot of rap artists, they have done that. They're like, no, I'm not selling my soul to you. I'm not selling. Unfortunately, some of them haven't, but it's interesting that when you don't give in, and people who have power come in and really try to intimidate you. But I really hope that TikTok can stick around. I mean, at this point, you know, everybody has access to our information. If China really wants whatever they want from us, they can get it, because there are people that are crooked in the capital anyway. So I don't think that's an excuse. I mean, and if they are trying to just get the algorithm, like, I hope TikTok just says no. And TikTok has been saying no a lot. And yeah, good for them. But anyway, back to Elon Musk and him being in China. He really, really wants to be able to offer that, the whole full self-driving automation. But I'm trying to think, why would I want to be in a car that's driving itself? Maybe, like, if I'm in the back seat, I could see that, like, being like Uber, like an Uber driver, maybe be in the back seat. But if I'm actually in the front seat driving my car. But I guess it would be cool because then I could be on, like, then you can use your phone and put your makeup on and do your hair. I don't know, but I guess they're preparing for the future, like the future. I'm not really sure. Maybe I'll be around for that, but I don't know. That's just interesting. It's just interesting. Elon Musk is an interesting man. I can tell y'all that now. He's a very interesting man, and it would be fun to be like a fly on a wall in his household. And I can imagine like being one of his heirs, like one of his children, what that would be like when I grow up, or what his household looks like. You know what I'm saying? Like what, like, is he, I don't know. Is everything in his house like AI? Is it a robot? Everything in his house a robot? That would be interesting. But anyway, shout out to him. Um, yeah, shout out to Elon Musk, y'all. Shout out to Elon Musk. Y'all see I'm running the board. I'm running the board again today. My son is preparing for his finals. So I told him like I wouldn't bother him to run the board, but I'm running the board again today. So y'all bear with me. Cause it's a lot to run this board, but we're gonna figure it out. In other news, y'all, this is kind of really sad. So Iraq, they quietly passed on Saturday, April 27th. A lot was going on that weekend. The Iraq parliament quietly passed a stricter law against a stricter anti-homosexuality law. Okay. Which is really unfortunate. So this law, y'all, it's really bad. So it's imposing a sentence of 10 to 15 years for same-sex relations, along with a prison term of 1 to 3 years for people who undergo or perform gender transition surgeries. And this was quietly passed. And it actually is like an amendment to their prostitution law. They have an existing anti-prostitution law, and they actually originally they were trying to do with the anti-prostitution law was to sentence to death anybody who imposed same-sex relations. So they were going to actually put into law practice to kill any individual that who was performing in same-sex relations, which is y'all, it is so unfortunate that these individuals that actually live in these countries like don't really have like freedoms to be themselves, because it's like, who actually, why would you, I mean, and I understand people have religions and different beliefs, but why, if someone is in their home, or if this is what they feel and they believe and this is how they want to live their lives, why are we like just like forcing our beliefs on people? Like, it is 2024. Like, I mean, I get it back in the day when, you know, things were how they were, but the world is changing and we are steady forcing our beliefs on people. And what I mean forcing, because you can, and that's bad either way, but forcing to the point where you're creating laws where like 10 to 15 years for same-sex relations, and then 1 to 3 years for people who undergo or perform gender transition surgeries. I mean, so how does that even work? So are they going to have to like, I guess, leave the country and get the surgery, and I wouldn't even come back? Like, that's crazy. That's just crazy. Well, Matthew Miller, the U.S. State from the U.S. State Department, he said, this anti, I don't even want to. It's just a bad law. Anti-homosexuality law threatens those most at risk in Iraq society, and he said it can be used to hamper free speech and expression. Of course, it's not can be used. It is being used to hamper free speech and expression. And then David Cameron, Secretary of State for Foreign, Commonwealth, and Development Affairs, he also says that it criminalizes the LGBT people, and it's dangerous and worrying, and no one should be targeted for who they are, which I agree. Like, oh my God, it's bad. They also said it also bans any organization that promotes sexual deviancy, imposing a sentence of at least 7 years and a fine of no less than 10 million dinars, which is about 7,600 US dollars. Um, y'all, it's pretty bad. It's like pretty bad. I don't understand why 2024 we are still concerned what people do with their lives, because it's not going to stop. Like, it's not going to go anywhere. So it's almost like you have to accept it. Just like, the whole racism, and we don't like black people, and we don't like this, and we don't like that. Like, we're not going anywhere. Do you see all of this? I'm not going nowhere. You're not going nowhere. We're not going nowhere. So, but I'm telling y'all, these are some hot topics. These topics are hotter than the whole P. Diddy and all that, Real Houses, and Portia Fox and all that, because this is some serious stuff. Because at the end of the day, like, there are people who live here in the United States who may have family that is in Iraq right now. And, like, that's just a scary situation right there. Scary situation. What I do like, though, is that at least in the United States, well, right now in the United States with the whole Gaza and Israel, like the whole war in Gaza, um, I love that now the young people on college campuses, they're protesting, right? They're really tired. They're actually speaking up. Whatever side they're on, they're all speaking up, right? Because it becomes one of those things where, like Tupac said, like, we got money to feed, we got money to support the war, but we can't feed the poor. It's so wild, y'all. It's wild. It is wild. So leave in the comments what you think about that. What do you think about, like, the Iraq um anti-homosexual law? Like, what do you feel about that? Like, 10 to 15 years for same-sex relations. I don't know why I want to say religion. Same-sex relations, and prison terms up to 1 to 3 years for people who undergo or perform gender transition surgeries. And I'm pretty sure their jail is probably worse than the United States. Not like Europe, because, and I've never been to any of these jails, but like when I watch some of the shows on Netflix, like the jails in Europe seem a little bit more like nicer, and how they reform their people to be better citizens when they come out but it seems like it's nicer. I don't think jail is nice, but you know, if you go there because you did something bad, I mean, hey. But I can't imagine what it's like in Iraq, like, especially if you're in there for a same sex, you committed a same sex crime. Like, that's probably got to be really, really, really bad. But on other news, let's talk about something fun. So, The Simpsons, I didn't know they were still, I knew they were still coming on, but I didn't know they were still coming on. All right, other news. After 35 years, Simpsons fans are going to be mourning the death of a character who is going to be killed off. Okay. So Larry the Barfly, um, he's died, y'all. He's died. Um, Larry Darrell, a.k.a. Larry the Barfly. Um, he is actually going to be dying off of The Simpsons. Um, if you are a fan of The Simpsons, then you actually know that he's the background character in Moe's Diner. and they say he's only spoken like two episodes of the 762 Simpson episodes entire series. So the Simpsons have 762 shows in the entire series. That's a lot of series. I actually used to watch The Simpsons. A lot of us used to watch The Simpsons. Like we used to like watch The Simpsons. And what's cool about The Simpsons is like they say like the Simpsons can predict. The shows predict the future. Like it predict that Trump was going to be president. It predicts stuff about O.J. Simpson. Like, and it makes me want to watch it now, start watching it again or catch up on some episodes to see what else. Oh, and they said it predicted the Super Bowl. It predicted one of the Super Bowls. So but anyway, so Larry's the Barfly, his cause of death is unknown. I don't want to do a spoiler alert because I think it's going to be showing tomorrow on Fox. I think this episode is going to be shown on Fox tomorrow at 8 p.m. So I think this episode. But anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. And I thought that was kind of hot news because it was interesting, right? The Simpsons, 762 episodes still going on. So I'm going to have to check it out tomorrow. So y'all check it out tomorrow. The Simpsons tomorrow, which is Sunday, May 5th. Wow, it's already May on Fox at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check that out. I think I'll be checking that out as well. Who knows? Who knows? I don't have much to do because I have one more final to take. So I've been in school. For those of you who know, I've been in school. I've been attending Middle Georgia State University online, studying aviation science and management with a concentration in management, basically learning how to run an airport, manage an airport. I shouldn't say manage an airport, run an airline company. I've been learning a lot, but I've also been taking classes on like, there's a couple of classes that I've been taking, just like communications, writing, and I had to take macroeconomics. And I actually learned last month, I think we had our unit last month about inflation and how inflation works. Because this whole entire time, I am thinking, and many of us probably were thinking that as well, that inflation was being manipulated by the government or by the presidents, based on who the president is. If the economy is good, then that president is doing everything right. If the economy is bad, that means that president is doing was inflation and interest rates are actually, and I'm going to say the word manipulated because that's what they do, manipulated by the federal bank, which is not part of the government. So I'm not going to talk about that today because I need to do, if I do talk about that, I need to make sure I have what I need to say and that is correct. But it's just really interesting that to me, this whole time, I was thinking that the inflation and interest rates were being manipulated by our government. Now, Trump did appoint one of the board members. I think they're called board members for the federal bank when he was in office. But there you go. Here goes something else y'all can go check out besides the celebrity smoke. All right, y'all, moving right along. So I actually like what I'm about to talk about now. Have y'all seen Good Times, the new Netflix animated series? Have y'all seen that? Well, Netflix is calling it a hilarious, unpredictable comedy. It's very edgy, and it's the reimaging of the TV classic of the Evan family, and it actually premiered on Netflix a couple of weeks ago, April 12th. I actually have been watching it, and I think it's kind of funny, and I think it's cute. and I actually like it. But the show Good Times, it returns back to the apartment 17C in the Chicago housing project, of course. This is actually the third generation of the Evans family, who, funny, is still keeping their heads above water. So there has been a lot of talk about this, but I actually like this. And this series is it's definitely pushing boundaries. Like, it's definitely pushing boundaries. And it's pushing boundaries for some of us who may not be comfortable, cuz a lot of times in the Black community, I think in any community, you talk what you talk behind closed doors. You talk how you talk. You talk about all types of things. You're who you are. A lot of us do code switching. I believe white people do it too. I believe everybody does code. I believe everybody switches it up when they're in the office or in somewhere where they need to switch it up, right? I believe all races do that. And so I think a lot of people are uncomfortable with allowing what happens, or the conversations, or the way people talk to each other, or the way Black people talk to each other, their families talk to each other. Not everybody, because we don't all talk like this. If you go watch a series, or if you watch Good Times, we don't all talk. This is not a Black, like, I don't want, like, this is not a Black thing. Like, this is not what we all talk, like, we don't have conversations like that. Doesn't go on. But I think some people are uncomfortable with it because they don't want Black folks to be stereotyped. It's like, this is how they behave or whatever. But it's a really, really I think it's a really, really good. I think it's funny. It's entertaining, right? But executive producer, showrunner, Renata Shepard, um she said, like, she had got the call. When she got the call from Sony, and she also caught the call from Norman Lear. Now, Norman Lear is the guy who actually created, like, the sitcoms The Jeffersons, Maude, Sanford and Son, and All in the Family. So if you know how those shows are, like, those are really good shows, like The Jeffersons and Sanford and Son. Like, I love those shows. Like, those are classic. You can watch those now. And, like, they depict, like, what goes on in the Black family, behind closed doors, or how we operate or whatever. And those are really good. So when Shepard actually got that call, and she knew it was Sony, and she knew Lear was going to be part of it, she, like, jumped on board. And I don't blame her, because I would have too. All right. So, but the good thing about this whole thing, like, even though, like, it does, some people may feel uncomfortable about, like, Black people being portrayed this way, it really, like, deals with, like, the modern day issues that we deal with, like the race and justice, like education, like environment. And they even talk about environmental and climate justice, health. And they even have an episode about health and well-being, inclusive economy, talking about, money, advocacy. Like, it's like, I really like it because it allows those topics to be right there in people's faces, right? Like, right there. We're going to say, like, this is what's going on. Like, right here, this is what's going on. Like, police brutality, like, right there in your face, and I like that. And I even like the fact that Shepard was quoted saying, like, each episode actually has that theme, and it can apply to everyone. So if you go watch it, it really can apply to everyone. And they have, like, the characters, they have these conversations. And I mean, it's funny, they talk about elections, they talk about poverty, women's empowerment, coded bias, technology. Like I said, it's really good. And then I read an article that said, um she was asked, why didn't they make it like a I guess a live action, like a live action with real people, instead, like, why did they make it animated? And she said, because they were, when you make it animated, you can make it, like, more, what's the word I'm looking for, you can just make it more in your face, like, more, like, just riveting, I guess, because like a live sitcom, I don't know if I would be comfortable with a live sitcom and like just using the cuss words like they do. Like with it's almost like with, because it's animated, it's more safe. Put it like that. But it's funny because like Netflix, like I don't remember, maybe it does say rated R. I'm not really sure. But it's, and that's a whole nother subject, but we'll talk about that another time. Like how back in the day, like there are certain things like you just couldn't click play on. Like you had to like, our parents would set up like some type of code, like if it's rated R or something. But like now, I know they say Netflix for kids, Netflix for adults. But what if your kid just gets curious one day and just wants to like hit on your Netflix profile because they're like, oh, look at mommy's picture. Let me click on their profile. And they click on your profile and then they see all this stuff. But it may be locked. I think they can lock it. I don't know. I don't have any young children, so I don't know if you can lock your Prime accounts, your Netflix accounts, so that your kids can't have access. But that'll be another topic for another day. But anyway, let's check out these cast members because you all probably would know like all these people. I'm sure you do. So you have Jay Smooth. He's Reggie Evans. He's the dad. Like I'm telling y'all, this show is, you got to check it out. You got to check it out. Now, I wouldn't suggest maybe watching it with your white friends. Only if they're comfortable. Like if you have some white friends that you're comfortable with, that respect you, that respect the Black culture, that won't feel like, oh, we're watching this together, so I can now invite myself to the barbecue, if you know what I mean. Because you have to be invited to the barbecue. Okay? It's a difference. So if you have some colleagues that are white and you're cool with, maybe we should watch it first, or maybe, I don't know if y'all should watch it together. I don't even know if this should be a conversation in the office about it. Like, I don't know, taboo, who knows? But anyway, you have JB Smooth as Reggie Evans, the dad. You have Yvette Nicole Brown as Beverly Evans. You have Jay Farrow as Junior Evans. And you have Marissa Martin as Gray Evans. And of course, y'all, let me get this ticker off the bottom. You have Slick Johnson as Dalvin, who is the baby drug dealer. Okay. um that's right, the baby drug dealer. But that's just like with the baby kids. Like, didn't they have like the baby? The baby was bad and the baby kids were good. But this is like more raunchier, more like just really in your face. And again, like the new series, it's not a fan of everyone. Matter of fact, I was reading that when the first trailer was released in March 27th, they have that change.org petition that goes around and says change this, but there was a change.org petition that actually gathered like 5,000 signatures, calling on viewers to boycott. I didn't see that because I didn't know nothing about it. I just turned on my Netflix and was like, oh, good times. And I was like, okay. So they were saying like the show promotes violence, cultural destruction of the Black community, and alcohol abuse. That's what the creator of the petition wrote. It would be interesting to see who that was, because it didn't tell me who wrote the petition. I guess if I go to change.org and see who wrote it. But the use of the N word like is there. They actually bleep it out. So they don't say it. It is actually bleeped out. Which is good, but again, there are people on TikTok who don't look like me who sing the N word in the song. So I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but and then the whole Dalvin as a baby drug dealer. But again, it's an animated series. And I guess some people are like, why would you take good times and, turn into this? But, it's Norman Lear's show. Like he can do whatever he wants with it, right? If somebody's willing to write about it, do so. And even she said, Shepard said, like, she wanted to do it because she knew she could have the freedom to add all these injustices that are put on Black people to this. So that was, I thought that was really good of her. You know what I'm saying? Because it could have been somebody else writing it, and then they doing what they want to do with it. But and of course the NAACP, they're saying that it's just perceived as a stereotypical depiction of African Americans, which I think at this point is 2024. I think that's not true. I think while the media, because this show, if we're going to complain about this show, then we need to complain about some of these rappers out here in the music industry, the black the the music industry, and the representation it has on black women. So if you're going to complain about Good Times, then we need to really start complaining about why the rap culture is depicting black women, why y'all know what I'm talking about, like why. But anyway, yes, check out Good Times. My favorite episode of Good Times is actually episode 3, which is Grey's Anatomy. This is when Grey, played by Marissa Martin, actually she has her first period, and her mom actually journey into like this magical world of womanhood, and that's a really good one. That's a really good episode to watch, because she learns the difference. She learns what else. She gets an idea of what it's like to be a woman, or what society now is defining women, as far as like the BBLs and the stripper pole. Like, it's really good. And then there's also a guest appearance from Honest Don, if y'all know who that is, the orange haired man, along with some members of the GOP. Okay. Um, Speaking on controversial issues about abortion laws, and should women have the say so, which is really funny, because it's just I like that episode, because of course the Republican Party, they're constantly pushing for national restrictions on abortion, and at first, because Honest Don was in the same boat, but now I guess he's decided to change his tune so he can get elected, because he's now saying that the states should decide. It should be up to the states. But episode 3 is really good. And then episode 7, Black Love Day, which is like centered around the theme of February 14th. Y'all know as Valentine's Day, is featuring Demetrius Flannery Jr., also known as Little Meech, okay, as the voice of Quan. So y'all go check that out as well, because when I was watching, I was like, is that Meech? Little Meech? And he has a great voice. So shout out to him, because he's really doing his thing right now. And I'm really proud of him. So yeah, and also, if y'all didn't know, there are additional executive producers. Stephen Curry, y'all know who that is, the basketball player. Okay, he's an executive producer of the show. I'm sure his kids don't watch it. They better not be watching it. But and then y'all know Seth MacFarlane. They also are executive producers of the show. So Good Times can be streamed on Netflix. Okay? Good Times can be streamed on Netflix. So y'all go check that out. I like it. I think it's funny. Like I said, I'm on episode 7. I have to rewatch episode 7, because I think I started doing stuff. I think I started doing stuff when it first started. And then when I heard Little Meech's voice, I was like, dang. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. Shout out to BMF. I'm watching that now. Are y'all still watching that, BMF? I get a little confused. Like, it's a lot going on in BMF, and I started to get confused, but then it kind of, like, I started to get confused with all the violence and different territories and stuff like that, because and who was who. Maybe because I wasn't really paying attention, but then now I think I'm understand. But I think, like, is her name Markeisha? Markeisha seems shady. She seems like she's shady. And for whatever reason. And then also I was reading in the comments how they said, like, Meech just seems like he's just the big dog or whatever. Um, but I don't know. I'm enjoying it. I'm interested to see what else that 50 Cent is going to come up with now that he has that studio in Shreveport, Louisiana. Um, he's all the way in Shreveport, Louisiana. It must be a lot of space out there. But I wonder how hard that would be, or what the cost would be to actually get people to um like what is that cost going to look like to have actors come out there and spend months out there um on the property or somewhere in the area to actually when they're filming and stuff like that. But he probably got a really good deal because a lot of times in rural cities, um they like when you bring people, or when people come to the city, because you bring businesses, you bring money. So I'm pretty sure he got a really, really good deal out there. Like he's probably making that his own city. Shout out to 50 Cent. 50 Cent, if you need anything when it comes to event planning, coordinating, nonprofit, whatever, you can hire me, because I'm pretty sure you're out there making Shreveport your own little city, kind of like how Tyler Perry did in Atlanta. Made a whole studio, took the old, I think it was like a military base, old military base, and took that whole thing and just made it a studio. So shout out to 50 Cent. Okay. He got time. He got time. He got money. He got the brain. So he gonna definitely do it. And he's y'all think he gonna do Surviving Diddy? Like, is he gonna do it where it's like a documentary where he actually has like people give their testimonies? Because I feel like if he's gonna do that, then he probably has to wait to after like the trial and everything dies down, because people probably can't really talk on stuff because the lawyers and all that. Or is he gonna make it like a non-fictional, or not? Yeah, a fiction, not nonfiction, a fiction series, because that would be really cool. Surviving Diddy, and who would play Diddy? Who do y'all think can play Diddy in Surviving Diddy? Put that in the comments if you have an idea who could play Diddy, because that would be really cool. Um, that would be really cool. In other news, y'all. So as I wrap up, because I got an hour to talk to y'all. As I wrap up, because I got other things to do. Anyway, but as I wrap up, I actually want to talk about this. I was actually gonna end this show on talking about one of my exes, and I was like, I don't really want to talk about my ex. I don't want to talk about them. Like, that's why they ex. But anyway, I do want to talk about Overtime Elite though. If you haven't heard of Overtime Elite, and I'm pretty sure you have because of the twins, right? The Thompson twins. But Overtime Elite is a professional basketball league, and it features the top um 17 to 20 year olds, domestically and internationally, players, right? And they get to play on these teams. And this actually started as like a startup, right? And I heard that like Jeff Bezos and Drake, um they actually invested into this OTE when it was starting up. But basically, OTE, they get these really, really great players, right? I mean, great players. They scout them out from 17 to 20 years old now, high school basketball players, and they make at least $100,000 a year. Um, okay, 17-year-old making $100,000 a year. And OTE, it actually started maybe like more than 5 years ago. And they wanted to actually build like a different kind of sports community and brand, to serve the next generation of fans, because as you know, a lot of these companies, a lot of people are really tapping into the young people, because they know like the young people are what's driving like the trends, you know what I'm saying? Like, even there was some argument with Taylor Taylor Swift, and how she had all these fans and whatnot. But that's because these young people are like into Taylor Swift. And I was reading a comment somewhere about under a post where they were saying she did like amazing when it came to her records, top 10 something. I don't keep up with the music and all that, but um somebody under the comment said it's because her music is not like the WAP music, not like the raunchy or whatever. And so parents can actually let their little kids listen to it, and their little kids on up. I mean, some of her songs are like toxic when it comes to her boyfriends, her ex-boyfriends or whatever. But I guess they don't have like the WAP, if you know what WAP is. The WAP language. And so but these young people, like, I've been to the OTE arena in Atlanta, and it's a beautiful arena, right? It's over there by the Atlantic Station. Beautiful arena. Um and I mean, these kids, these 17 to 20-year-olds basketball players, like, have fans. Okay? They have like fans. Like fans. And if I can share my screen, let me see if I can do this, y'all. Um, yeah, they have fans. And yep, I can share it. Bim! Is it sharing? I don't know if it's sharing. Let me show it. Bim is showing. Okay, Stacy, do your thing. Y'all see I got that one little viewer in Instagram. Hey, Instagram viewer. Anyway, so basically these players, y'all, I was fortunate enough to go to the finals last year when the two Thompson twins played. I actually have the footage of the winning point. That was such a good game, y'all. I have a footage of the winning point and them winning and then running over to where, because we had amazing seats. Like, we had floor seats, right? But yeah, our feet was on wood. But it was such an amazing game. And it's watching college basketball and OTE is so much different than watching NBA basketball. Like, they play different. I feel like with NBA players, they play like, because it's their job, right? That's their job, right? That's how they make their paycheck. And like with any job, like when you first start out your job, you come in there, you like, I'm working, I'm doing my thing. But eventually, when you're doing the same role, the same thing, I don't care, no matter what company you go to, at first it's fun. Like, even with LeBron James, at first it's fun to be traded here, traded there. But eventually it's still work, right? It's still like, oh, I gotta get up because I gotta get up and pay my bills. I gotta get up and pay for this car. I gotta get up and pay for this house. I gotta get up and pay for these hoes to get their hair and nails done. I'm sorry, they're not hoes. That wasn't nice. I gotta get up and pay for my women or whatever you got to pay for. It's still a job. You know what I'm saying? They still got to get up and go to work. So it's different watching college basketball players or even OTE players play, and you all can check them out. They actually go live on their YouTube. They go live on their YouTube channel. They go live on their Instagram channel. I think even the teams each have, a lot of the teams each have their own Instagram channels as well, and they go live. But these kids are amazing. Okay, amazing. And if you can see, look at them, y'all. Look at them. All these kids are doing their thing. I mean, look at these points. Look at these. Look at this. Look at this. And I'm not really like technically like knowing about like assists and steals and blocks and whatever, but this is pretty amazing, right? OTE, y'all have to check it out because these kids are amazing. And actually, Monica Brown, I don't know if y'all know Monica Brown, the singer. Y'all know Monica Brown. Hold on, y'all. I'm trying to get my screen to get back to where it needs to get back. But Monica Brown, who has her son, Romello Hill, who Rocco, I know the rapper Rocco, Rocco, I don't want to call him a rapper, but producer as well. Music producer. I think he's more of a music producer now. Um, um, this is Monica Brown and Rocco's son, Romello Hill. He actually plays for RWE. And if you go to his Instagram page, or if you go to OTE, or if you put in Romello Hill, you can, or even go to YouTube, you can actually see him play. And it's pretty amazing, yo. These kids are super talented. But what I really like about Overtime Elite is the fact that they actually they have a structure, right? Player development. They give them the best training, the coaching. They have access to some of the best facilities, education. They make sure like their academics are prioritized. I mean, they teach them professional skills. Like they teach them how to be a superstar, I guess, and how to react with fans, and before they even get to the NBA, economic empowerment. They they get to understand their market value. You know what I'm saying? They get to understand how do I market myself? How do I really capitalize on who I am? I mean, it's just a great program, and it is something that if you live in Atlanta, or if you ever are visiting to Atlanta, they're in the playoffs now, but like next year sometime, or towards the end of the year when they start the season over again, check it out. I mean, tickets are pretty affordable, you know what I'm saying? I like the fact that the ticket prices for the kids, oh my god, like I think they're like hold on, I can tell you. They're really cheap. Like for the kids, like to sit in the stands of the family, I think they're like $10 or $15, I'm not sure. And then if you want to be like super extra VIP status, you can pay like $100 to sit on the floor. But it's still like, oh my God. Great experience. So for those who may be interested, how do you get in the program? Like they go through a rigorous selection process. They're definitely scouted. And they're identified as a promising basketball player, but they also look for character, work ethic, and academic potential. And the families are definitely involved, which I really like. And again, you all are let's see if we can pull up. You all know these two guys, okay? Ahmad Thompson and Arsar Thompson. I think I'm saying their names right. Um, of course, like I said, I had the opportunity to be at their winning game, their very last game. But these young men did have the opportunity last year to be part of the 2023 NBA draft. They were fourth and fifth picks. Ask me how I know that, y'all, because I did my research, of course. But it was just interesting because, again, I was just minding my business and happened to click on it. And I was like, oh, I have footage of them. I was like right there. Pretty amazing because he literally shot the winning shot, y'all. Like that was the closest game ever, and it was really good. If y'all can find it on my Instagram, I should repost it. I'll try to repost it. But anyway, so the Houston Rockets, y'all, some of y'all should know this. They selected Amin, sorry, as the number 4th overall, and then the Detroit Pistons drafted Asar as number 5, and then a fun fact, like they became the first brothers to be drafted in the top 5 of the same draft since 1976, when I was born. But anyway, congratulations to them. Now, I did read that back in earlier March this year, that the Detroit Pistons announced that the rookie Asar Thompson will miss the remainder of the season due to a blood clot. So I'm not really sure if what's going on with that, but prayers go to him, because I did read that like they were glad that they caught it. If anybody knows, like a blood clot is so serious. And that's another interesting thing to think about, like how all these young players are actually having like these health issues, even with LeBron's son, like the whole cardiac arrest, like just the whole heart and the blood and all that, like, makes you think, are we running them too hard, or I'm pretty sure they eat healthy. So I'm pretty sure they're not out here like eating chicken McNuggets and Chick-fil-A. Speaking of Chick-fil-A, so I was at a volunteer event this morning. We go real quick, and Chick-fil-A catered it. And so the employee came back to pick up all the stuff, like the hot bag and all that, the from the from the event. And I mentioned to him, like, yeah, I don't really eat meat no more. And because I asked him if they had more sandwiches, because I was gonna bring some back to my son to have, because he's a college student. They eat, college kid, they eat anything. But anyway, um, and he was like, no, ain't no more. And I was like, the way he said it was like, ain't no more. And I was like, oh, you said that like you just tired of eating Chick-fil-A. He's just like, I just, he said, when I see them make it, I was like, what? They don't wash their hands? He's like, no, when I see all the ingredients that goes into it and all the stuff they have to do to cook it, he's like, I just don't want to eat it after that. Which makes sense, because back in the day, like the Chick-fil-A sandwiches used to be like golden brown and fluffy, even if they sat in the warmer for over like 5 or 10 minutes, right? They used to have like this pretty brown color. Now, when they sit in the warmer and you get your sandwich, it's like this dark brown, like just like shriveled up sandwich. And so, but I haven't been eating meat for almost 2 months now. I think it's 2 months. Maybe it's just a month. I don't know. But yeah, so I found that interesting, because he's a young person and young people usually eat anything, but he was just like, I'm not eating that. So I was like, okay, well, good luck to y'all still eating them Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Shout out to y'all still eating them Chick-fil-A sandwiches. Yay, yay, yay. Yay, yay, yay. Yay, yay, yay. But anyway, just when we think about our kids, y'all, we definitely we need to be there for our kids, for real. Okay? We need to be there for our kids, okay? We matter to our kids, and we need to really take the time to spend time with them, and ask them questions, and just spend time with your kids. Get off your phone, get off the live, turn the TV off, go to the park. The weather is nice now. Spend time with your kids, man. Like, be a role model to your kids, because if you're not going to be a role model to your kids, somebody is. And they're either going to be a good role model or they're going to be a bad role model. But you don't want to wait. You don't want to wait till it's too late to find out which one, right? So really, really, like, come on, y'all. Be role models to your kids. Like, just don't sing certain song. Like, I don't care how good that song is, that beat is, like, some of that music you should not be singing along with your kids. You shouldn't be getting high with your kids. You shouldn't be drinking with your kids. Like, we got to be better parents. We got to be better role models. We got to really tap into our kids, even when they become monsters. Oh my goodness, my kid Marcus, like we went through it. We went through it. And I remember before we went through it, I was like, oh, he's a good kid. He's this, that. And I remember some people was like, okay, Stacy. Okay, Stacy. They was like, okay, Stacy. And I was like, no, not my kid. Not my kid. And he did turn into a monster. And then I just had to stay on him. And I remember there was this lady, I don't know, 2 times. One time when I was in the nail salon getting my nails done, this lady was like, a lot of times your kids will act up around you, but when they're not around you, if they behave, then you know that you've done the right thing. And I was like, okay, that's good. And then another lady told me, she's like, I don't care how hard it gets, do not give up on your kid. Like, if you got the fuss and they ain't listening, if you got the cuss and fuss and whatever, and they still ain't producing, still ain't, doing what she's like, just keep doing it. Love your kid, keep doing it. And I don't remember, I wasn't that hard headed. Now, I did give my mom a headache, but we weren't as troubling or bad as whatever. But I definitely stayed on my son. And I can say right now, he has a 3 point. He went back to school. So me and him both are in school. And he has a 3.0 average right now. And he passed math. Math was was the most difficult subject he had in school. But he passed it. He is doing really well. And I am a proud mom. And I'm glad that I've been a great role model to him. And I encourage you all to also be a role model as well. So, you all, my hour is up. And I don't have anything else to talk about. Not right now. And these lights are hot. They're really hot. But anyway, I enjoy everyone who tapped in. Shout out to Tag. What's up, y'all? I see y'all over there. Tag is actually a platform that I don't really go live on there, but they're behind the scenes right now. Somebody said hi. Hey y'all. But they're behind the scenes right now. And I appreciate everybody that is actually either in Facebook or YouTube or Instagram. And again, this episode will actually be saved on YouTube. But I appreciate y'all because I'm finally doing my thing. Episode 3. You got to start somewhere, right? So I appreciate those who are with me right now. Started from the bottom. Then we're going to be here. Okay. Stacey Michelle's Corner. And the light, y'all. The light is not blurry today. So, yee. Shout out to my niece, Tay Simone, out there in Charleston, South Carolina. Y'all can actually check her out on Z93 Jams. She is in the night, not overnight, but I think it's 7 to 10 slot. And you can actually hear her on iHeartRadio. So shout out to Tay Simone, my niece doing her thing. Shout out to Marcus for making that 3.0. And shout out to all the parents, the ones that are being role models. Don't give up on your kids, y'all. Come on. I got y'all. We got y'all. It's tough. It's tough. But again, I enjoyed y'all tonight. I hope y'all can check me out again in 2 weeks. I'm trying to do it 2 weeks, every 2 weeks. Y'all got to work with me every 2 weeks. We're going to try it. But again, I enjoyed chatting with y'all. Again, if you leave a comment or something on YouTube, whatever, if you want to subscribe, you can subscribe. I mean, at this point, I'm just whatever, It's all free, so do what you need to do. But again, I appreciate y'all. And until next time, I will talk to you all later. Bye.
Later.
I'm not a whore.
I wouldn't pay. Why the fuck did he leave you?
Lot of shit poppin', lipstick poppin'. Lot of shit poppin', lipstick poppin'. Lot of shit poppin', lipstick poppin'. Lot of shit poppin', lipstick poppin'.
I'd like to touch you. Later.
I'm not a whore.
I wouldn't pay. Why the fuck did he leave you?
What's your job?
A question. You've asked me a question.
So?
It's a chink in your armor.
I'm not wearing armor.
Yes, you are. You know what I do. Why are you calling yourself Jane?
Because it's my name.
We both know it isn't.